Alright guys, it's Zach here today. Joe's not about, so it's me filming We Need to Talk. It's been a little while, and this is the show where we look at football on the internet over the past 7 days. And what a few 7 days it's been, as we've seen Jesse Lingard linking up with his mates on holiday.
I love this place. Yeah, I love it. Wow, damn, son.
The Argentina squad wishing Lionel Messi a very happy birthday. And Jordan Henderson giving his thoughts on pulling Germany in the next round.
Well, it's exciting. It's a huge game and one that we'll be looking forward to. So, yeah. We knew whatever team would face it was going to be a big challenge, and Germany will certainly be that.
Anyway, today we need to talk about transfers. So if you haven't been living under a rock, you'll know at home that the group stages of the European Championships for 2020, or technically 2021, is now done, and that the round of 16 starts tomorrow. So I thought we'd go through every team in the tournament and suggest which player we think will get a big move this summer. Now obviously I'm not Houdini or anything, I don't know anything behind the scenes, nothing about Chelsea players or any of that, so please, if you do not agree with me, make sure you get in the comments as well and let me know which player you guys think at home should be getting that big move. And because there's 24 teams, I'm not going to be able to say much about each player because it will be here forever. So I'm going to have to fly through these. If you think there's a player we should talk about more, again, get in the comments below or on social media. Also, if we get this video to 7,000 likes, we'll do whatever the top comment says. Maybe. Yeah, f it, why not? We'll do whatever the top comment says, me or Joe. So we're kicking it off with Group A, and that means none other than Italy. And it has to be Manuel Locatelli, I should say, that a massive pause in the middle. I mean, this deal looks like it's already done anyway. And he really has burst onto the scene. He's probably been one of the players of the tournament so far. He's only 23 years old and only played 2 games. Verratti played the other one, and Verratti was fantastic. He got man of the match against Switzerland. He scored 2 goals. One of them as well was a ridiculous pass on the volley out to the right wing and then runs forward and nets it in. Now it does look like he is going to be moving to Juventus. I think apparently Premier League clubs are aware and interested about him, but it looks like Juve is going to be the club he'll go to. What a boring move, what a fun player. And because of Premier League clubs wanting to get involved for him as well, Juve are apparently about to push for a bid. Sassuolo want £34 million for their star man, but Sky Italy say that any deal will also include a player going the other way. At the moment, it looks like it's going to be a 2-year loan with an obligation to buy, which screams to me right now that Juve do not have a lot of money. Okay, but that is Italy done. We move on to Wales. Now, before I reveal which player it's going to be, I have to say, Wales in general have very much been a team performance. A bit like Denmark, actually, who they're playing in the next round. The shout-out should probably go to Gareth Bale and Aaron Ramsey. I don't think Ramsey will be getting a move this summer. And I think Gareth, wouldn't surprise me if he goes back on loan to Spurs for his last year of his contract at Real Madrid. But there is one guy who I think may get a move, and it is none other than Danny Ward, the goalkeeper for Wales, who has been ridiculous. He's faced the second most shots in the tournament, just behind Turkey, with 25 coming from inside the penalty box. Obviously, they've already got a great goalkeeper in goal in Kasper Schmeichel, so he's not going to be getting many minutes at Leicester at the moment. He's contracted there until 2025, and unless he waits another couple of years and then takes over, by that time, he'll be in his 30s. He's 28 now. But with Rui Patricio looking like he's about to leave Wolves, he looks like at the moment what we've seen in the Euros, a solid Premier League goalkeeper. So I think he might get a move to Wolves. We move over to Switzerland now, who have been okay in the tournament so far. Again, no massively standout players. Shaqiri's been pretty good, and he could possibly leave Liverpool this summer. I don't think he will. That's why I've not included him for this. Instead, I have picked Mbolo. Mbolo, who, to be honest, is only 24 years old and for a while now has kind of been talked about as this guy who could finally break onto the scene, and he's yet to really do it. His club, Borussia Mönchengladbach, are reportedly ready to offload him and his international teammate Zakaria as well. Now, his deal also expires in 2023, so someone could pick him up. I'm not going to say he's been amazing in the Euros, because he's not. However, when I looked at that Swiss squad, there wasn't necessarily someone else that jumped out to me. So that is it for me in Mbolo. As I said, can't talk about them for an extensive amount of time because otherwise we'd be here all day. We move on to Turkey now, and Jesus Christ, they are bad. The attack is awful. I feel so bad for Yilmaz, who is playing basically up front by himself. When he looks behind him, there's no one there supporting him. He was pretty good for Lille in a two striker up top formation. The defence, which was supposedly meant to be great, has conceded 8 goals. Hakan Çalhanoğlu looks like he's already moving to Inter Milan. So, okay, I thought, let's go with Ozan Kabak, who obviously played the majority of last season at Liverpool, and he was okay. He was okay at Liverpool, I'll be honest. He wasn't anything spectacular, but he was quite young. He's 20 years old or so. So he was okay. And he was offered to Liverpool for £18 million. And Liverpool rejected that. Instead, Liverpool went and bought Konate, which I completely agree is a fantastic deal. He's now available, apparently, for even less. It screams that Schalke need that money, but apparently Liverpool are not keen. Instead, though, Leicester City may take a punt on him. Schalke need that money, and God, I mean, if he's £10 million, it's not awful. As I said, he's very, very young. He can improve. And so maybe him and Sionku at the back isn't the worst shout in the world. But if they defend like they did at the Euros, Jesus Christ, it'll be the worst £10 million they've ever spent. We move on to Belgium now, and obviously Lukaku is the big one. He's committed his future, though, to Inter Milan. He was possibly going to move to Chelsea, but it looks like he's staying at Inter. So, I have gone for 19-year-old Jeremy Doku. I'll say Doku. If I've got that wrong, I do apologise. And he is a really good talent. He only played against Finland, but was really, really good fun against Finland. He has been the best dribbler in Ligue 1, which obviously also contains Neymar and Kylian Mbappe last season. So fair play to him. He's really, really young. And he's actually been linked to Liverpool and Arsenal. They're both supposedly interested in him. However, he's being valued at around £50 million. So it's a lot of money to maybe spend on such a youngster who I'd say needs another season probably to prove himself and then go for him. But yeah, Jeremy Doku, Belgium, I think he may get a move this summer. We move on to Denmark now, and after everything that's happened to them over this tournament, the fact that they've got through to the next round is so good to see, and that Christian Eriksen is okay. But I want to talk about Mikkel Damsgaard, who is ridiculous. He's only 21 years old. He currently plays for Sampdoria, and he's played twice for Denmark in the competition. He scored a curler, a long-range effort against Russia. Really, really nice goal. If you've not seen that, make sure you check it out. He completed 6 dribbles for Denmark and has also got 6 goals and assists for Sampdoria last year in Serie A. And listen to what his club president, Massimo Ferrero, has said during the Euros. He goes, "Did you see Damgaard's goal? I'll tell you, his price right now is at least 30 million euros. But if he scores again, it will reach 40 million. Now, he's actually currently being linked to Tottenham Hotspur, which actually could be an okay move, AC Milan and Barcelona. Now, if I was his agent, I'd maybe be saying go to AC Milan. You're probably going to get a bit more game time there. Spurs isn't the worst location, but it depends if he's going to play or not, or whether Gareth Bale comes back in, who's the next manager. So I'd maybe say AC Milan just for game time, but he's a very, very talented player, and I'm sure we'll see much of him over the coming years. Moving on to Finland now, and I'm not going to lie, not a lot of players here that were that exciting. However, I've decided to pick Glenn Kamara, the Rangers midfielder. Now, he's had a tough job in midfield for Finland, considering, you know, it's not the greatest of nations. Pukki up top, they've done very well to get to the Euros, and I'm pretty sure they've done their country proud. But he performed well in a kind of mediocre side, all things considered, and he actually performed pretty good against Belgium. His international manager, though, has said that he should continue his development at a bigger club, which hasn't made a lot of Rangers fans happy. And he has been linked to his old club, Arsenal, but a more likely transfer, a more likely destination is newly promoted Watford. He seems like a decent player. I'm not going to go over the top and say he could be the next best thing, but he seems good enough to play in the Premier League. So Watford He's your man. Russia, again, was difficult. They were not fun to watch. But if there's one player that I think can possibly get a move, it's Alexei Miranchuk. Who was good, maybe kind of the only shining light in a very, very boring Russia squad. They only managed to beat Finland and scored just 2 goals in the entirety of the competition. Same as England, I suppose. And Miranchuk got one of them. There wasn't many other players that I could look at. He had 4 key passes, 2 shots, and completed 3 dribbles. So yeah, maybe he'll get a move, maybe he won't, but this one was rough. Moving on to Group C now, and we have to kick it off with the Netherlands, who were fairly impressive. I won't go over the top and say they'll win it, but they were pretty good. And the guy I'm going to talk about is Donyell Malen, 22 years old, been linked to quite a few clubs actually over the past few years. He's only played 93 minutes in this competition. He's yet to score, but he did grab an assist, and it looks like he may start again. It might be that kind of formation they use in the next round for him. He has been linked to Liverpool. He scored 27 goals and got 10 assists in a ridiculous Eredivisie season, so fair play to him. Reports in Germany are currently saying that the Reds are set to open talks with Malen, but also according to Sport Bild, Donny Malen is Borussia Dortmund's top target to replace Jadon Sancho when he eventually goes and joins Manchester United. It's stated though that Malen is their favourite to get in to replace him, and he'll be worth around €25 million. So that would be a fun deal, actually. I'd like to see him go there. Whether he'll be able to replicate what Jadon Sancho's done there, I'm not so sure, but I think he'll be a top forward. Moving on to Austria now. Been a bit underwhelming in the tournament so far, but they've got a big game against Italy tomorrow, which I'm going to. So if you see me there, say hello. I will say though, Sabitzer has kind of been their guy, the guy that I think will probably get a move. He's been rumoured now to be leaving RB Leipzig for a little while now, and I think the summer is a good time for him to move. He's only 27 years old, been very good for RB Leipzig over the past few seasons, and apparently he's only going to cost around £15 million. He's been heavily linked. He was heavily linked to Spurs in the January transfer window, and according to Tutto Sport, AC Milan could also challenge Spurs for his signature. But Alistair Gold, who's also pretty reliable when it comes to talking about Tottenham Hotspur, has also backed the North Londoners to compete for the midfielder's signature. So either AC Milan, who also seems to be buying everyone and anyone under the sun, or Tottenham Hotspur, who have no manager, who can not have a say on which player to get. So maybe we'll just stay at RB Leipzig. On to Ukraine now, who have had some very interesting and entertaining games. Yarmolenko and Yaremchuk have also been very good, but I'll be honest, not a lot to pick here. Yarmolenko is getting probably too old now for a decent move. He may leave West Ham, but whether he goes to a decent club, I'm not so sure. So I have picked 18-year-olds, and I'm so sorry if I butcher this pronunciation, Ilya Zabani, who has been linked to Chelsea, actually. Chelsea were close and apparently are close to agreeing a deal with Dynamo Kiev for centre-back Ilya Zabani, who would apparently be available for around €12 million. So he's obviously not going to be starting in that Chelsea squad anytime soon. But he may go out on loan and maybe a player that is highly rated from Ukraine. The youngster who has also been referred to Chelsea by ex-Chelsea player Andrei Shevchenko, who highly recommends the defender, and he's actually been okay. Like, I won't say he's been amazing throughout the tournament. I don't necessarily think Ukraine have been amazing, but they have had some fun games to watch, I will say that. So we'll see. Maybe he moves to Stamford Bridge. Moving on to North Macedonia, and this one is being kept short and sweet. Short pickings. Pandev has been alright, but I don't know whether he seems to be retiring or not. No one quite knows. But it's got to be Leeds United midfielder Alioski, who is actually run out. His contract at Leeds has run out, and so he needs to go to a new club. Don't know what club that's going to be. He was okay for Leeds, not amazing. Kind of did a job everywhere for them, so maybe he'll sign a new deal. I doubt it though, by the looks of it. I think maybe a move to the Championship could be on the cards. Moving on to my beloved England now. So far we've scored 2 goals in the tournament, not lit it up. Been a little bit disappointing if we're being quite frank, but it doesn't matter. We're still going to win it, and it's going to get much better when we beat the Germans on Tuesday and go and win the whole thing. Anyway, we're going to talk about Jack Grealish, who today TalkSport have said is very close to joining Manchester City. Now, I will say this came from TalkSport, and most specifically Jim White, who is supposedly very good when it comes to Aston Villa, which obviously Jack Grealish is the captain for. £100 million is what's being spoken about. It makes sense as well. They've brought in Buendia. They've also been linked to Mill Smith Rowe. They're looking for another attacking midfielder to maybe, I guess, replace him at the club. They're kind of willing to let him go. And £100 million, fair play. I mean, he signed a 5-year deal last summer with Aston Villa. It doesn't end until 2025. And so Villa are making the most of their money here. And I think Jack Grealish at Manchester City is quite frightening, to be frank. He wants to play in the Champions League. This may mean that Bernardo Silva looks like he might be leaving, or another winger at Manchester City. And I think it'll be good fun. I think he'll have a great career there if he does go. And it's quite frightening to think that he'll be playing in that Manchester City attack under Pep Guardiola. Whether he'll do the hard work that Pep wants him to do will remain to be seen. However, it will be good fun. And £100 million, wow. Who knows? Before he even goes and moves to City, though, let's just make sure he plays against Germany. That's the main thing right now. Screw City, play against Germany. That's what he focuses on, Jack. Croatia now, and this is going to be Josip Brkalo, who hasn't really played a lot during the tournament. He's only started one game, but he has been good for his club, Wolfsburg. He's only 23 years old, and he scored 7 goals and provided 3 assists in 28 games for his Bundesliga side. In recent weeks, he's been linked to Leeds United. Apparently, Marcelo Bielsa is interested in signing him. And Bild claim that Brkalo is flirting with the idea of moving away from Wolfsburg. As I said, Leeds are interested in signing him. Everton are supposedly interested, and so are Napoli as well. And so, yeah, that is Josip Brkalo. Moving on to the Czech Republic now, and it's got to be Patrick Schick, the real shining light for them this year. He's been fantastic for them. It's never quite worked out for him so far in his career. Currently plays for Bayer Leverkusen, but he's been stellar at the Euros. He was man of the match against Scotland, and in that game, it was him that dragged them through to the round of 16. And he'll be facing the Netherlands in that next round. He scored all 3 of their goals in the tournament so far. One of them, that audacious goal from the halfway line against Scotland. But yeah, it's hard with him. It's hard because, as I said, club level's never quite worked out for him just yet. But who knows? Maybe he'll be able to use this as the catalyst to go forward. Scotland now, and it's going to have to be my boy Billy Gilmour. Now, he is being rumoured to be moving to Norwich on loan for the whole of the 2021-22 season. And I think that's a good move. Apparently, Tuchel wants him to go there because Daniel Farke plays a 2-6 midfield, and that's exactly what Tuchel is currently doing at Chelsea. Talented player. Now, there are obviously talks about the way Pep Guardiola dealt with Foden, and obviously they didn't send Foden out on loan, and he is where he is now. And I get that, I really do, but the issue is right now, Billy Gilmour needs to be playing week in, week out. And if he's that 4th choice midfielder behind Kovacic, Jorginho and N'Golo Kante, and there's only 2 positions there, he needs to be playing, and realistically right now he wouldn't be playing that much. So I think a good loan move. I think he could probably do better than, say, a Norwich City, but I don't mind it, especially if he's going to be playing in that formation. He was unreal for the Scots when they played against England, and unfortunately such a shame that he got COVID, because I'm pretty sure he probably would have been brilliant as well against Croatia. But yeah, Norwich City, loan move, do not mind it. A lovely lad. I've been raving about him for years now, to be quite honest. Still very young. Really nice guy. And yeah, it'll be, and I hope he smashes it. Moving on to Sweden now, and it's got to be this guy, Alexander Isak, who is a talent. He really is. He's yet to score. He has been great though. He has got 1 assist. Should have more, to be honest. He's played some ridiculous balls, and can do it all. Good in the air, good with his feet, can dribble, can pass, can shoot. He currently has a £60 million release clause at Real Sociedad, where he scored 17 goals last year in La Liga. He's only 21. Apparently Borussia Dortmund can get him back for half of his release clause. That was his club before Sociedad, so they could pay £30 million to get him back. And he could possibly be a good replacement for Haaland. If he doesn't move this year and no one pays that 60 mil, then maybe if Haaland moves next summer, he could be the guy to replace him. I don't think that's bad business from Dortmund at all. However, AS claim that Arsenal are willing to pay his £60 million release clause, which is mental, because I don't know how Arsenal are getting all this money. I really don't. We spoke about it last time in Sunday Vibes. I don't know how they're getting this money. But yeah, Alexander Isak, good. I think he'll get a move this summer. Moving on to Spain now. They've been quite average, to be honest, until they played Slovakia and scored 5. And even then, they missed quite a few chances, if it wasn't for Dubravka giving them a goal. Aymeric Laporte, though, is the star and the only one that I really see moving out of that squad. But that's because he's too good to be a bench role at Manchester City. He only started 14 games last year for them, and he should be starting week in, week out. We know the quality of Laporte. I'm not going to rave on about it too much. But he has been rumoured to be part of that Kane deal to go to Spurs, with Kane going the other way, plus money also going to Spurs. He's only 27 years old, and around £40 million is apparently what City are looking for his signature. So if I was any club looking for a centre-back right now, biting your hand off for him. Slovakia now, and I'll be honest, like a few of these teams, not been great. They're getting on. Hamsik's now getting on. But one guy who was very, very good for them has to be Milan Skriniar, who scored a fantastic goal and is really only that bright spark. I mean, his contract currently runs out at Inter Milan for 2023. And apparently 50 million euros is only what it will cost to be getting him out of Inter Milan. He's still 26 years old, won Serie A with Conte, and so he looks like a very, very good defender. He has also been rumoured to Spurs. He was rumoured to them last season. And again, I think it's a pretty good deal. I think he deserves a move out of Serie A. Premier League would be interesting. His agility is maybe a little bit questionable, but I think he'll be all right. Poland now, and obviously Lewandowski is the main talking point here. He was also rumoured to Chelsea, but that's just so rubbish, I'm not even going to entertain it. So it's got to be Kasper Kozlowski? I hope I got that right. He's only 17 years old. He recently broke the Euro 2020 record for being the youngest player in the competition, 6 days after Jude Bellingham set it. So you realise how young he is here. Manchester United have apparently joined Borussia Dortmund and Barcelona in apparently being interested for him. And Kozlowski is supposedly a United fan. He's a massive fan of Cristiano Ronaldo, he said himself. And he's also said that he kind of idolises Paul Pogba and wants to base his game off that. So being 17 years old, fair play to him. Whether he'll move, I'm not so sure. But if he does, I think Manchester United, not just start for Manchester United, but maybe going to their academy, and who knows, in a year or two, we could see him playing in Old Trafford. France now, and they've got some great players, they really do, but the one I want to talk about is Raphael Varane, because it looks like he's going to be leaving Real Madrid. Apparently, according to Florentino Perez, no official bids have come in just yet. He's only got a year left on his deal, but he looks like he wants out. They've lost Sergio Ramos, they didn't give him a new contract, and Varane looks like it's going the same way. He wants a new challenge, and so anyway, this, out of all the centre-backs I've mentioned, this is the prime guy. If you're going to go for a centre-back who is proven quality in the Champions League, internationally, and in La Liga, this is the guy. Again, rumoured to a few different teams, but the main one is Manchester United. I think a partnership of Varane and Harry Maguire would not be too bad at all. Quite frightening, actually. And again, around £60 million is what's being rumoured for his fee. Germany now, and again, they've also been kind of interesting with the way they've played. Really good game against Portugal, a decent game against France, even though they lost, and then a quite average game against Hungary. But the one who's been ridiculous is Robin Gosens. Not going to spend too much time on him, which I think we spoke about a bunch, but he scored 20 goals from fullback in the last 2 seasons for his club. Atalanta have since slapped a €40 million price tag on him. He's apparently a target for Inter Milan. Could possibly be a replacement for Ashley Young, who's left, or Perisic, who is still at the club, but he's obviously getting on. And he has been linked to Leicester City, like every kind of player that isn't world-class level, but a little bit below that. And he's been quite impressive for Germany. He looks like good fun, and I think a move to the Premier League would be good to see him do. Portugal now, and a bit like Germany, have been up and down. They've been good fun to watch, that's for sure. But the guy I want to talk about is Renato Sanchez, who didn't necessarily start every game for them in the tournament, but has been really, really good when he has come on. And obviously you saw him play against France and was ridiculous. Paul Pogba was also very good in that game, but he's not going to be leaving United just yet. I think he might even be signing a new deal soon. But Renato Sanchez, 2023 is how long his contract is at Lille. He also came out recently and said that his time at Swansea wasn't great, probably the roughest part of his career. Now, he didn't regret moving to Bayern Munich. He regretted the loan move to Swansea. But he has just won the league. He did start 14 games, though, because his injury record isn't great. I will be honest. 5 different injuries last season. But if you're a club that's looking for a midfielder as not necessarily cover, but a starting midfielder that maybe you have cover for if worse comes to worse, injuries happen, then Renato Sanchez is that guy. £27 million is apparently what it'll take to buy him as well. And yeah, he's been a real star for Portugal when he's played, and if he stays fit, he still has such a huge career ahead of him. Finally, Hungary now, and again this was also quite rough, but they have been involved in some great games to watch. But the guy I'm going to go with, and again I'm so sorry about this pronunciation, Attila Szalai. So, you know what? I'm sorry, it's the last one. But yeah, 23 years old. He has been linked to Leicester City. I'll just put him on the board there for you. And apparently the Fenerbahce defender is about to become Hungary's most expensive player ever, as the Turkish outfit would demand £21.5 million for his services. Fair play. Again, as I kind of said, when it wasn't a guy that was a world-class talent and then looking at maybe the top 6, it was always going to be linked to Leicester City. I'm not so sure whether that will happen, but a move definitely might happen for him because he's been okay. He's definitely not necessarily been the greatest defender at the tournament, but he's been all right, and I think there's something in him. He's still very young, can learn. Normally takes a little bit longer for defenders as well to really step up their game. So yeah, that is it. 24 players from 24 countries from the Euros who could get a big move this summer. Wow, that was intense. As I said though, if you guys agree or disagree with me, let me know in the comments below. If I've missed out anyone else, please let me know. There were some hard ones to make. Obviously, Jadon Sancho looks like he's about to move to Manchester United. A few players like that who there were other guys to probably talk about instead of. But as I said, get it down below or on social media. It's up to you. If you guys have enjoyed this video, then click on screen right now for some more Football Daily content. And as always, guys, do not forget to like and subscribe. As I said, 7,000, and we'll do whatever the top comment says. Bye.